Builder's Business Black Belt has been absolutely fantastic for my business. We wouldn't have survived without the help of Mick and Julie.
I'm here to tell you that I've experienced all the lows in business, and I'm here and it's all right. And looking back on it, I'm actually glad they happened. They made me a better person and stronger.
So important to have someone that you trust. But if you had found a builder who had a great website, the fat roller was kind of like hanging over my pajamas. I was kind of like, oh man. And I had crow's feet and like my skin was all dry.
It's just full of gold nuggets all over the place. Thanks, James, for being on the show.
Soda water? What are you talking about? It's like, yeah, I'm going to get drunk on this soda water tonight. Watch me swing from the rafters here. Yeah, no, I'm actually taking a break for a while. I've been feeling pretty good. I've lost a bit of weight, so yeah, I'm on the sparkling waters tonight. But let's go crazy. I'll go toe to toe with you. Yeah. You drink a beer, I'll drink a soda water, and everything will be fine. Oh, all right, great, cool.
Because the car won't run without the petrol, and we don't apply that same logic to.
Okay, now you're a freaking weirdo, all right? You know my books and sequence. If you have a freaking poster of me above your bed, I wouldn't be surprised. So,
yeah. And in a good way. Yeah. Because you don't want the holiday.
Yes, we definitely have done the right thing. Let's get moving and let's keep up the momentum and keep moving forward as much and as fast as we can to see where we can go with this.
For me, I feel like I'm fresh in the business. I feel like now that I'm excited again, and like I was when I first started, I'm excited to see where it's going to take us. Just loving the overall building industry again.
As I said, it's changed my life, not just the business. So it's life changing.
Probably a bit like Phil, it's changed my life more so than the business. Like I said before, the business is my life, but this has changed my whole attitude towards the building industry. 20 weeks ago, I was ready to jump under a bus. I was sick of it. I've been doing this for so many years. It wasn't getting where I wanted it to be. Now I can see the projection. Everything looks up. Everything looks positive. Yeah, and I'm renewed. I'm ready to start again. Let's see how I'll go in 20 years.
Yeah,
laughing.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Mick, because you're one of the. Like I said, you're the leader. You're the one that did put me on this track, and thank you once again. I know I thank you a lot, but thank you once again.
It's all right. Just before we go, are those fish they very expensive to keep behind you? Do they eat a lot? Do they die very often?
Well, it's an interesting question. I mean, obviously, it's a YouTube video. I can't afford the fish.
It's a pleasure walking life's path with you, Nick.
I've been with the Builder's Business Black Belt in various forms over the last 14 or 15 years.
One of the biggest ones and one of the main reasons I joined BBB was to do with the problem of coding.
This is a complete mindset change, you know, of how things are done, what should be the norm. The flow-on effect from that through the business and through your own personal life has been, you know, in just a few, 12 weeks has been amazing.
Consistent caring, I think, is what makes this group rather special. I'm so privileged to be part of it.
And that's one of the things that we look forward to, or we used to before COVID anyway.
So when people say more turnover will make my business healthier, I say, liar! No, you gotta bitch slap people and wake them up. Because listen.
This is the Builders Business Success Podcast for builders who want to attract more quality clients who aren't price-focused, eliminate cash flow pressure, and get paid for every quote. Here's your host, Mick Hawes.
Hello, folks, and welcome to another episode of Builders Business Success Podcast. I almost said forum, but that's the Facebook group. So at least I know what I'm doing. Welcome to this episode. This episode is episode 61. And in the blurb about it, it says, what is the one thing that can make the difference as to whether your building business is successful or not? And this one thing is so influential and so critical, it can determine to the level to which your business is successful. And when I say successful, that's even up to you. Like the what is success to you? For some, it's money. For some, it's meaning. For some, it's time, freedom, and choice. For some, it's all of the above. But that doesn't matter because this thing that I'm going to be talking about in this episode of the Builders Business Success Podcast can determine the success or not and the level of success, no matter what you believe success is. So I'm going to keep you in suspense until we start talking about what it is. We're also going to do the standard Q&A. In this episode, the question that has been asked is, what if I lose the job on price? So we're going to address that because that is a common question. If I'm not price competitive and I lose the work, what then? So we're going to address that question. And of course, idea of the week. We're going to have an idea of the week simply so we can get a close-up of the light bulb that floats in air. It's the most important thing, that we get a shot of the floating light bulb. Now, if you have never been on one of these podcasts, what it's all about is helping builders overcome, eliminate, get rid of the costly and very common problems that seem to plague most building businesses. And how we do that is we've got a group of builders called Builders Business Black Belt, and we're talking about what works, what doesn't work on a daily basis, and testing ideas, testing theories in different areas around the country, different regions. So we know that some of the things that many builders think are limitations aren't, and it's just in their mind, and we'll address that today. Now, if you are watching this live, and you can be watching it live on a couple of different YouTube platforms and 3 different Facebook platforms. If you are watching live, please jump in and put hashtag live. I can see somebody's already done that. Now, in particularly the Facebook platforms, there is a link, and the link is something like chat.restream.io/FB for Facebook. You get the drift. If you can click on that, all it does is gives us permission via Facebook to know who's making the comments. So if you can click that, and you only ever need to do it once, and then from then on, away we go. Now, we've got a bunch of people that have said live. Hugh, that's his actual name. Normally he uses some sort of superhero, AKA, but today he's using his real name. And he says, live, baby, live. So he's with us live. Good to have you here, Hugh. So let's fly into this. The thing that I was alluding to and making it like it was a big secret and all of that sort of stuff that can make the biggest difference to your success is basically how you think, how you interpret things. We could call it mindset. We could call it belief, whatever you want to call it. But I want to run through a bunch of them to see which of the common beliefs that are destructive to the success of a building business resonate with you. And I'm only going to run through a few because there are many, and we've got a limited time on the podcast. So we just want to run through a few and see how many resonate with you. But why why is this important? Why is it important for you to examine your mindset? Because the reason that most people got into running their own business, not just builders, is because they wanted more money than they thought they would get working for somebody else. They definitely thought they were going to get more freedom and more choice than working for somebody else, because I'm the boss. I can decide what happens and when I work and who I take on and all of that sort of stuff. And you, with that choice, you can have more meaning. You can work in the areas that you want to work with. So you've got more choice, and you can do the things you love. And they were the three motivations for people to, for whys to people started their business. Very, very rarely is this the reality for people when they start their business. More often than not, they become a prisoner to it. They don't get anywhere near the time freedom that that potentially their team members or other people that are just working for a boss, an employee, get. The business owner certainly has a lot more worry. They more often than not have real challenges with cash flow and the financial situation, which creates stress as well. And often that financial stress leads to decision making. That means that they just take on what they have to take on to keep the wheel turning, the till ticking over, that sort of stuff. So out the door goes time freedom, out the door goes financial freedom, and out the door goes meaning through, being able to choose what you take on. This is the case for most builders. So I want to address a bunch of mindsets and hopefully help you be able to shift them so you can turn this around. So these aren't in any particular order of priority. They are just mindsets that I have found are really, really common and are quite challenging for most builders to overcome. And I'm hoping to give you some suggestions on how you might be able to do that. So what's the first one? The first one is no one cares as much as me. Now, what happens when you've got that mindset, when you think that the buck stops with you, and it does, like you are responsible, but that mindset, that no one cares as much as me mindset, tends to have the business owner have everything run through them. Just check with me before you do that. I'll take care of that. And that mindset just tends to cause you to be the bottleneck. And it's just not true. It's just not true that no one cares as much as you, and no one will do as good a job as you. That's just not true. It's simply not true. If you understand the 6 human needs, Tony Robbins talks about them all of the time, that the 6 human needs are certainty, variety, connection, significance, growth, and contribution. And if you understand how they influence people's behaviours and choices, if you set up an environment where all of those human needs are ticked at a high level, you'll find that you'll build a team of people who really, really want to take on more responsibility, who really, really want to contribute more and be part of something that is incredible. And what that means is that you can have people contributing from their space of superpower. So people will take on responsibility and contribute in areas that you just never thought they would, because it floats their boat. They really, really care. So you'll find that there are people who care a lot more about systems and procedures than you do. There are people that will care a whole lot more about the quality of the customer experience than what you do. There will be people who care about the detail of the financial measurement and management more than you do, given the opportunity. But whilst ever you hold on to that belief and you've got that stranglehold that no one cares more than me, you won't open up the opportunity for other people to show you that they care as much, if not more, than you do in various areas of your business. What's another one? This is a classic. everyone decides on price. All decisions are made on price. Again, just not true. The big majority of people put value way, way ahead of price. The majority of people. There is a minority of people who are just really tight and everything is sort of put through their filter of price. But here's the thing. Most builders build their business as if everybody decides on price. So think about that. If the majority of people are far more interested in value and the minority of people are interested in price, and you assume that everybody is making decisions based on price, you set up the focus of your business, the communication surrounding your business on price, which means you attract the price shoppers, the bargain hunters. So that one belief in and of itself creates the reality where everybody you talk to is focused on price because that's your focus. The instant that you change that mindset and go, okay, I want to set up my business so I am attracting and focusing on the same thing as the majority of people, guess what happens? You start then having a focus on value. Your team starts to have conversations on how can we provide more value. The prospects and the clients are wanting to get more value, and that takes away the focus on price. Price doesn't matter so much anymore when the focus is on value. And the bottom line with this, folks, is it all starts with you and in between your ears. And if you hold on to that mindset, everyone decides on price, you are attracting that problem into your business and it will never go away. What's another one? It's kind of similar to what I just spoke about, but the classic old chestnut. You can't charge for quotes. Thing is, you can. Thing is, the Builders Business Black Belt members do. In fact, our blueprint, so Blueprint to Black Belt, that's our 12-week program where we teach only stuff about mindset and personal effectiveness, how to implement the quality client pathway, and part of that is getting a fee for your proposal. And then the third pillar is profit first, how to measure and manage your financial situation to completely eliminate financial stress in the future. So there are people that go through that blueprint program even that within the first number of weeks, 5-6 weeks, start getting paid for their quotes. It just happens, and it's a pointless argument for builders out there, and some still do go, mate, you can't do that. If you charge for quotes, you won't get customers. If you don't have customers, you don't have a business. I get that. If you don't have customers, you don't have a business, but it's total horseshit that you can't charge for quotes. The thing is, you just don't know how. You haven't got the process in place, and part of that process, and the process is useless until and unless you change that mindset that you can't do it. You can do it. You just need to open yourself up to it and learn the process so you can position yourself, your communications and your processes to your prospects and eventually your clients, that doing it this way and investing in a professionally prepared proposal is a much better way for absolutely everybody involved, particularly the client. So if you hold on to that one, again, you're doomed to doing things for free and getting treated like a less than person because you're holding on to that belief, holding on to that thought process. Another one, good help is hard to find. No, it's not. People love to contribute. It's one of the 6 human needs: contribution, connection, being part of a team and contributing to a team and being part of something special is what drives people. It is the leadership that is the problem, and the focus isn't on creating an environment where people can take on more responsibility and contribute and be part of a team and connect to that team that is doing something that is meaningful and special. Start to do that and watch how things change. Watch the productivity of the team go through the roof. Watch the problems disappear. See how enthusiastic your team members get when they are part of conversations focused on how can we blow our client's mind this week? What can we do so they go, wow, aren't we so lucky to have had this builder and this team of tradespeople managing our product? That is all totally possible, happens every day with our black belt members. But whilst ever that mindset is in your head, good help is hard to find, you are going to find evidence that that mindset is the truth. Absolutely. Change what you think, and that changes what you start to look for, and you'll start to find it. A Facebook user says, haven't done a free quote for 2 years now. Now, that particular Facebook user, if you can find that link, the Restream, the chat.restream link, click that. I think that's all you need to do, and that will give us permission to find out who you are. So I can give you a shout out and say that person there hasn't done a free quote for 2 years now. And I'll bet any amount of money that that user, that Facebook user, that anonymous person that I probably know as soon as they click the link, they'll never, ever go back to doing free. And here's the thing about that is that free isn't just about the builder being paid for their time. So there's that respect there from the client. It's significantly better for the client when the builder invests their priority, their focus, their time, their effort on doing a really well put together proposal, because they know they're being remunerated, that they're being respected for it. I'm assuming that that's Adrian, because Hugh has just said, nice one, Adrian. So, Adrian, click the bloody link so I know it's you commenting, all right? Or else I'm going to send the boys around. Another one. I don't have time for team meetings. I know that they're important, but we just don't have time for team meetings. We're so busy. Dude, the reason that you're so busy, and busy has nothing to do with effectiveness, the reason that you're so busy is because you're not getting the team together and talking about how can we make things more efficient, how can we make things more effective. And you do that by asking, how can we make things more fun and get rid of the ugly bits out of our day? If you allow and, in fact, encourage discussions on a weekly basis on those topics, let's put the shitty stuff on the table. There's nothing that we can't talk about, and come up with solutions for them. You watch what sort of ideas, fantastic ideas, end up on the table if you create that environment, that safe environment where we can talk about the crap, the shitty stuff, the boring stuff, the repetitive stuff, the stuff that creates angst, and you create a safe environment where it's okay to talk about that stuff without being labelled a whinger. You watch what happens. So don't have time for team meetings is a very, very limiting thought process. The reason you don't have time for them is because you're not enjoying the benefits of making sure that happens. And then you'll find that there's a whole lot more free time. The team becomes significantly more productive. A whole lot of fantastic benefits come from doing that sort of thing. Another one, got to make hay while the sun shines. That means you're kind of taking on everything. If I ask some builders who's their ideal client, and they'll go, anyone who's got money. Yeah, well, ask the builders who have taken on people and then, at some stage through the process regret having taken them on, because they're always penny pinching and focusing on the cost and can you cut it down and can you do it faster and can you do it cheaper, and complaining and whinging and bitching about things. You don't need to make hay while the sun shines. You can make your own sunshine with your own processes, with creating a remarkable business so all of your past clients start to become attract strategy team members. So they're out there talking to everybody who will stand still long enough how amazing you are. And they will run into people who need your services, and you will tap into the trust factor that they have between them and their friends, and you'll start to get a lot more fantastic quality clients. You don't have to take on everything, and in fact, you shouldn't. You should really make sure you've got a quality client pathway that gets the right people to have the right mindset, to have a great relationship with you, and it gets rid of the people who just aren't appropriate for you well before they steal your time. Another one, and this is sort of more of the old school builders. I'm terrible with technology. I'm hopeless with technology. Well, find out how to make it work. Find somebody to make it work for you, somebody to set it up, because there is no getting away from that. And if you stay with all of the old school processes, you end up being a dinosaur. Things take too long. It creates frustration for your team, for your clients, for your prospects. You've just got to wrap your head around it. And all it's stopping you is that thought process that I'm no good with technology. If you keep saying that and hypnotize yourself into that belief, you'll find evidence for it every moment of every day. If you change that belief and you go, I love technology, I like exploring technology, I want to find people that can help me with my technology, you'll start to get evidence to back up that belief as well, and it will make things significantly easier. Because if you start to fall in love with technology, there's so many things that can happen or that you can implement to get things off your list that occur every day or every week, so you start to get a hell of a lot more time freedom, because you can automate things. You can have things happen without any intervention from you. So we just need to find who can do that for me. But you need to open up to the technology. Okay, so I could go on and on and on with these thought processes or with these beliefs. This is just 7 of them. We've talked about just 7 of them. There are an absolute ton more. What do you come up against? All right, that's the question that you need to ask yourself. To find the limiting belief that you need to change, ask the question of yourself, what's the thing that you keep coming up against, you keep bashing up against? And if you want to jump in the Facebook group, Builders Business Success Forum, and ask the questions, how do I get over this? We will jump in and help you. So find those things that you find are limiting beliefs for you, and jump in the Facebook group and start to ask the questions. The other thing too is, if you want help with any of that sort of stuff, as I always say in this show, with monotonous regularity, jump on a call. Now, there's links in the Facebook versions of this podcast. If you're listening to it or watching it on the website, in our blog, there's a button underneath the video. If you're watching it on YouTube, there's links there, or you can just go to our website, buildersbusinessblackbelt.com.au, and there's schedule a call or book a call buttons all over the joint. So we're pretty easy to find, and I just suggest you do that, because it's all about efficiency and effectiveness and saving you time and effort trying to find the solutions. The solutions already exist to pretty much every problem that you experience in a building business. All you need to do is jump on a call, tell us what it is, and we can point you in the right direction to help you eliminate that problem from your building business. But the point of this part of the podcast is, what are the things that challenge you? Identify them, and then reach out and ask some questions so we can help you eliminate them. So I hope that was helpful. Again, if you're watching this live, if you haven't already, put in #live. If you're watching the replay later on, please put in #replay in the comments. That would be super helpful. So Q&A time. The question that I got asked was, what if I'm not price competitive and I lose the job based on price? Question gets asked a lot, but here's the real question. The real question is, what if you got the job? if you are so price competitive. Because here's the thing, that when builders join Builders Business Black Belt, we pay for them personally to go and have a health check, a financial health check with a profit first professional. And in the years that we've been doing it, not one builder was charging enough or was making any profit according to what profit is in Profit First. So if you're sitting there and going, you know, I need to be price competitive, and you're constantly sharpening your pencil, what that says to me is that you are pricing the job where it is impossible to make a profit, particularly if you're trying to be price competitive against other builders who are being price competitive. It's just a bloody race to the bottom. And it all stems from one of the beliefs we talked about just earlier, was everyone makes decisions based on price. No, they don't. And so if you're losing on price, the truth is that you're losing because you're not delivering high levels of perceived value from your prospect's point of view. That's the truth of the matter. You are not losing the job based on price if they're a quality client. If you're losing the job based on price and they are a price-focused person, thank God you didn't get the job, because the worst thing you can do is take on a job where you are price competitive and the customer is just totally focused on price. It'll be the worst job out. You definitely won't make any profit. You'll be super frustrated, and it's a lose-lose situation. Nobody wins in that scenario. So the other thing is, as well, is if you are focused on price, you're causing your prospects to have a focus on price. Okay? They're going to focus on it too. Even people who, which is the majority, 80% of people put value ahead of price. Even those people, if you focus on price, you're going to drag their focus down to price as well. So you are doing it to yourself. My suggestion is focus on value. Keep focusing on value. What do I need to do to be able to provide value? That's what the whole quality client pathway that we teach in the Blueprint program is focused on, giving you the process, the steps, the tools, the mindset and the skills to be able to have a process that is totally focused on value, that takes the focus away from price, that allows you to get good quality clients who are prepared to pay a premium, and allows you to be profitable, which is your right. You're not ripping people off if you make a profit. You deserve to do that. But it's all up to you as to whether you're prepared to change your mindset, implement a quality client pathway, learn the skills, have the processes and the tools in place to have that quality client pathway work. And when you do that, you will end up with good quality clients prepared to pay a premium, and you will be profitable. And that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't ever feel bad about making a profit. Businesses don't survive if they don't. So it's part of a successful business. It's a requirement. So I hope that answers the question, at least stimulating your thoughts. Idea of the week. This gives us the opportunity to show you a close-up of the floating light bulb. It's very, very exciting, don't you think? I'm sure you want to get one now. Everyone wants a floating light bulb. The idea of the week, and this is a bit of a crazy idea, but it's not so crazy. And it's all about it's in the theme of what we've been talking about today, to be able to represent value. If I'm the prospect, having a builder that I really believe has massive authority and stands out in the marketplace within all of the other builders, I think is a tremendous advantage. And there are a couple of ways of doing this. And I know that the big majority of you, as soon as I mention what the big idea is, you go, oh, I wouldn't do that. Guess what, folks? There's another limiting belief. That's the 8th one that we've talked about today. Because both of these things that I'm about to suggest are very simple cost-effective ways of elevating your authority within all of the noise in the building industry. The first one is become a published author. That's right, write a book. Currently within Black Belt, we just got a whole bunch of members together and they all wrote a chapter each and they're creating a book, but it becomes their own book. And it was effortless to put it together. You know, it only took a little chunk of time for them to write their chapter and what have you, and they will end up with a book. And do not discount how powerful a book is in elevating your status as an authority. It's a very simple process to do it. It doesn't cost much at all. There are services now that can basically print on demand, so you don't have to buy 1,000 books like you used to when we first published our first book. We're currently in the throes of doing the second one, but the first one we had to buy, I think, 1,000 books to make it worthwhile, per copy. You don't have to do that these days. Everything can be done online with Fiverr.com and things like that. You can outsource pretty much the whole thing, the editing, and people can make your ramble sound intelligent. They certainly can make mine. So they can do that for you. The second thing is even easier than a book, and that's one of these things. Not a microphone, but a podcast. It is so simple to create a podcast. And the ninth limiting belief that you'll have about this is that I haven't got anything interesting to say. Bullshit. You have lots of interesting things to say, and your prospects will be hanging off every word, getting that inside knowledge about the building industry and how things work and how to get a great project and how to get a great outcome and how to select the right builder and how to work with your builder to get the most value and have a great experience and all of that sort of stuff. People would be hanging out for that sort of stuff and getting the equipment. You don't need to have all of these moving cameras and all of the stuff that we've got. For just a few $100, you can create a podcast. Get good enough equipment to create a podcast and start to promote it and elevate your status as an authority. So that's the big idea: write a book or do a podcast. And if you want to chat about how you might do that, guess what, folks? You know where to find us. So what's the takeaway for today? Here's the takeaway. It's not the marketplace that's the problem, or it's not COVID that's the problem. It's not the region that you're in is the problem. It's not the economy that's the problem. It's not the government that's the problem. It is your beliefs. It is your thought process. It's the way that you see things. Stephen Covey once said, "The way we see the problem is the problem, and not a truer word has been spoken." So start to work on those mindsets. If you want help with that, what do you need to do? Book a call. So as I said, you can just go to the website, buildersbusinessblackbelt.com.au, book a call with us. Hit one of the links that's underneath this podcast if you're watching it on Facebook or YouTube, and you can book a call. We're more than happy to help out and point you in the right direction. There's so many resources about. There's so many opportunities for you to eliminate all of these problems that we talk about in this show. All you need to do is raise your hand. Like, all it is a conversation. It's not that scary. You won't have something sold to you. We're on a mission to help the building industry, to change the building industry, to elevate the status of builders to the level of respect that I believe they deserve. But it's up to the builders, it's up to you to change how you are perceived. And to do that, you've got to change what you think in between your ears, and we're here to help you do that. So please jump on a call. I hope this episode has been valuable. I hope it's been thought-provoking. Is the word that I was struggling for. And I just hoped, beyond hope, that you will jump on, hit the button, jump on a call with us so we can start to point you in the right direction and help you eliminate all of these problems that are completely unnecessary in a building business. That's it for this episode. I'm Mick Hawes from Builders Business Black Belt. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got some value out of it. I hope we get to talk to you in person real soon. That is it. Bye for now.